All right, everyone. What is up? Welcome to another edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, and this is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you guys so much for your subscriptions and watching. Let's get started with night 2 of WrestleMania 38 with the opening bell of RK Bro with Street Profits and the Alpha Academy. That entrance by RK Bro was kind of funny because you had Randy Orton trying to bite the green snake. The green snake, obviously Matt Riddle. That was completely, completely hilarious. But let's move forward. The match in itself was awesome. I really enjoyed you. First of all, that shoosh in the intro of Alpha Academy's entrance was funny. It sounded like a what you call that? A siren. It sounded like a siren. But either way, going forward, great match. You can't have WrestleMania without having Riddle, Angela. No, it was Montez Ford. Montez Ford was flying, and Angelo Dawkins did some flying of his own. But what I especially loved that was funny was when Matt Riddle crushed, I believe he crushed Dawkins and Riddle because Riddle pinned Dawkins and Otis crushed him, and Otis, after he crushed him, Riddle had a look on his face like Big Show did when Kane grabbed him by the throat at WrestleMania 17. This he had his mouth open like, "Oh God, that hurt." But either way, the Street Profits paid homage to Triple H with the DX Trop, followed by the Blockbuster. But what really was the highlight was the ending, as Matt Riddle went for the leaping RKO from the top spring rope onto one of the Street Profits and Montez Ford, just like Sammy Guevara did to Cody Rhodes. By the way, great cutter by Cody last night. But what really was cool was seeing Randy Orton RKO Shad Gable, who did a great moonsault earlier. But it was great to see that caught out of nowhere RKO, which would get the victory, and the RK Bro retained the tag team championships. But that didn't stop there. Gableson, Gable Stevenson, I believe that's what his name is. I don't want to get any names wrong. Came to the ring to celebrate with the Street Profits and RK Bro, and Mr. Shush guy got in the way and got belly to belly. Who knows? Gable Stevenson may be the next mayor of Suplex City. I don't know. Next match of the evening, we have Omos versus Bobby Lashley. Because when Omos keeps talking about domination, you can't talk about domination without talking about Lashley. You say, I won't do that. You say, Omos says, I'm going to dominate them. And Bobby Lashley says, hold my drink. And so this match was very great to watch. I really enjoyed this one. I've never seen anyone manhandle Bobby Lashley like that. And Bobby Lashley bumped his head on the turnbuckle post. It's a miracle he doesn't have a concussion. Nonetheless, Bobby Lashley showed his strength off later, delivering a vertical suplex, a reverse spear to the back of Omos, and an actual regular spear to hand Omos his first loss ever. Awesome. I was always asking who can stop Omos besides Roman Reigns? Bobby Lashley can. The almighty chopper of Redwoods. This third one was really entertaining. We had the donkey, Johnny Knoxville, because I can't really say what I really want to say, but either way, moving forward, just in case my mother might be watching, but either way, moving forward, you guys got to call it that for me because I can't. But either way, even though I'm old enough to, but either way, we have Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn in an anything goes match, and anything and everything went in this match. I enjoyed it. It was so entertaining. We had the haluva kick started out real early. We saw trash cans involved. We saw blowing trumpets. You know those little tiny little trumpets that you blow. I thought Sami Zayn was gonna bust his eardrum. Remember, You guys remember in Saturday night's main event in 2006 when Triple H blew those tiny trumpets into the Spirit Squads back when Dolph Ziggler was one of those? But either way, moving forward, back then, before there was Austin Theory, the Spirit Squads were a part of the Kiss My Butt Club. But either way, nonetheless, great match. The blowing trumpets, the pyrotechnics, and the tasers, and you saw Wee Man come out, the midget. Family Guy actually made fun of this one time. I didn't get it at the time because I hadn't watched it as much. But Family Guy made fun of it when they had Stewie Griffin beating up Peter on the toilet. And apparently, Stewie was supposed to be Wee Man. Now I understand the Family Guy joke. Either way, you have that. You have the gigantic hand slap. And does Stephanie slap really hurt that bad? Everyone says Stephanie slap hurts. I don't know. But either way, moving forward, great match. And to make matters even more interesting, we saw what I like to call, to keep this modest because I know what it's really called. It starts with a B, but I can't really say it. So I'm going to call this groin busting videos. I can't, the other one I want to say, it starts with a B, but I don't want to say it like that. But either way, we saw a lot of groin busting tonight with the bowling ball and that little toy leg that kicks Sami Zayn. So we have that. We have the giant hand slap, and of course the trash cans, and not to mention the table with the mousetraps. And like Pat McAfee said, mousetraps are the devil. But we got a gigantic one to keep Sami Zayn down. We saw a lot of stuff, awkward stuff, funny stuff, but it was one of the most entertaining, laughable matches I ever saw. In our next contest, we have the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match with Team Bad, Sasha Banks and Bayley. Sasha Banks and Naomi, excuse me, 2/3 of BAD. Vega and Mella, Batgirl and Catwoman, Liv and Rhea Ripley look great together. And of course, you have the submission specialists, Shayna Baszler and Natalya. So, first of all, that Lamborghini costs more than your house, Byron Saxton. But either way, poor guy, he had a really bad night last night. And speaking of which, keep that in mind because I got a lot to discuss later. But either way, great match. We saw Liv and Sasha Banks fly. We also saw Vega fly. Vega did a moonsault. It's not often that you see a lot that type of high flying from Vega. But her hero in real life is Rey Mysterio, so learn from the best. But either way, moving forward, Shayna Baszler shows why she is sadistic. Sometimes watching Shayna Baszler is almost like watching Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy in Hell in a Cell. No, I think Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy Hell in a Cell is a lot more disturbing. But either way, moving forward, Shayna continues her bone. I think she has a fetish for twisting bones. Shayna has a fetish for twisting bones. Thankfully, that didn't last too long. And first off, Carmella, I thought Carmella was going to wear the most beautiful mankind daughter like mask ever because when she puts on a mask, she looks like the most beautiful daughter of mankind. Those masks are something. It's a glittery mankind mask. But either way, I wouldn't say that in front of Corey. But either way, great match, a lot of close calls. Once again, Rhea Ripley is giving awkward pinfalls. She pinned Zelina Vega on Raw twice in awkward position, and she did the same. She almost pinned Naomi in another awkward position. Thankfully, it was broken up, even though I was rooting between Liv and Rhea with Team Bad. Thankfully, Team Bad, after their double team move, got the victory. And you know what the good news about that is? Not only are Team Bad tag team champions, but we don't have to worry about seeing a live letter X show with Corey and Carmella. Because quite frankly, if they did a live show like Edge and Lita did, I would have thrown up. If they ever do that again on TV, I'm gonna puke. This is WWE, not the hub. That's what the hub is for. Jeez. But thank God we won't have to see it. If they do, I hope it gets interrupted, just like Cena interrupted the show then. Thank you, Cena. Let's talk about this fourth match right here. This fourth match, good God Almighty. It was slow pace, but it was still awesome. First of all, this new Edge, even though he's a villain, and let's be honest, that has always been there, like Peter said earlier in the opening show. Speaking of Peter Gabriel from the opening kickoff show, that guy has a death wish. Somebody sent him to Stone Cold Steve Austin so he can stun him. Have you not learned you don't fruck with Texas? You don't fruck with Texas. You don't do it. I put an R in there. But either way, you don't screw with Texas. So, Peter, you have a death wish. Either way, great match. Great entrance by Edge. Even though he's a heel, this new side of Edge is very interesting, but quite frankly, that side has always been there. He's been a part of the Brood. He's been the rated R heel. So, of course, I'm not that surprised. This is Edge. It's just more darker and more godlike. Not God mode like Roman Reigns, but godlike. Moving forward, it was a great match between both guys. I was very excited. It was slow paced, but it was very awesome with the filling out process. AJ Styles kind of made it hard for himself when he went for that 450 early, but when he went there, Edge countered with that knee, and he hurt his knee while AJ hurt his ribs. But Edge took control of most of that match, but AJ Styles put up a heck of a fight. We saw a superplex onto the apron. We saw a 450 that was actually successful later on. And after delivering the Styles Clash, Edge kicked out. And AJ's next best move was to go for the forearm until Damian Priest stood there, distracting him long enough to leap off for Edge to catch him in a spear. It's like if you play 2K games, you know that you can catch someone in midair, and Edge definitely caught AJ Styles in midair. It seems to me like we are about to have a Ministry of Darkness 2.0, but the original will always be better. But this is 2.0. Now everyone else, now the only thing that could be missing is the Fiend, but you guys released him, or maybe Aleister Black, but or should I say Malachi Black, but they're both he's in AEW, so who's gonna be a part of the ministry? I don't know. But the original ministry will always be the better one. So this other one right here was Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Great match. The fans were behind it the entire way. Everyone was loud for him. I was supporting Pat McAfee. Michael Cole was behind Pat the entire way. And I was the type of fan, I was like, if Pat loses, I'ma lose it. I'ma throw everything. I'ma tear my whole freaking living room up. I'm knocking tables over like Jesus Christ did at the temple. I swear to God. But either way, thankfully, that did not happen. I love that how Pat leaped over to the top rope and superplex Theory, and later on went for the pinfall, and Pat defeated Theory. Then Mr. McMahon came in, and here's a fun fact. Although nobody really likes Mr. McMahon, fun fact, this is Mr. McMahon's first WrestleMania victory. Unfortunately for Vince, and thankfully for us, the humiliation did not last because Stone Cold had time to make one more freaking appearance on tonight's, or should I say last night's WrestleMania second night. Wasted little time stunning Austin Theory. That was a heck of a sell by Theory. He sold the snot out of that stunner. And Mr. McMahon, that the stunt, that one was a little bit of a That that was a little bit of a blooper. The stunner he gave to Mr. McMahon was a little bit of a blooper. It's not like we're used to seeing. It was a little bit of a just it was a little more sloppier, but still fun to watch. I was really happy to see Pat McAfee and Stone Cold do a toast together, and I was really thinking that they were gonna stick it out, but just like um, Byron Saxton, he learned the hard way. DTA, don't trust Stone Cold Steve Austin. And still, it was very fun to watch, and Stone Cold kept drinking, and Pat McAfee was drinking while he was out. Just uh, uh, that was hilarious. But nonetheless, thank you, Stone Cold, for appearing on two nights. Can you please stun Peter for dissing Texas again? When will this guy learn? This is the last match, the one we've all been looking forward to. But it's crazy because this match only lasted 10 minutes. Somewhat 10 minutes, but nonetheless, it was still the best 10 minutes. I felt like I was watching Goldberg in his prime. In his prime. Let's keep that in mind. But either way, moving forward, Roman is announced by Paul Heyman. Brock Lesnar announces himself, and the match starts. Roman going to Suplex City. Fun fact, Suplex City was officially named during a match with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 31. Suplex City, Bishop. But either way, great match. Suplex City early, and then we saw Roman Reigns go for a spear in a 2 count. My apologies, I got that wrong. What actually happened was after going to Suplex City, Brock Lesnar would get speared by Roman into the barricade as Paul Heyman was begging for mercy. I love you. I'm sorry. This was all Roman's idea. I'm so sorry. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, how do you guys like that Paul Heyman impersonation? So he gets speared and he beats the 2 count and then gets speared again for a 2 count. And then after a couple of Superman punches, Brock Lesnar laughs it off, goes back to Suplex City in an F5 for another 2 count, and then Roman spears ref and Roman Reigns together. No, Roman spears Brock and the referee at the same time, which would squeeze the referee on the turnbuckle, which would leave the referee down long enough for Roman to cheat and use the belt. Roman Reigns pinned Brock, but Brock kicked out of that otherwise. And he went for another spear, but it would get caught into a Kimura lock. That Kimura lock would cause Roman's arm to go out, but Paul Heyman did his best to talk Roman into sticking it in, and he did, going for a reverse spear and another spear for the win, which means Roman is the undisputed champion. So, WWE Empire, if you're watching this, congratulations. We're the ones. And also, Munchkin Guy, you don't have to stop watching WWE anymore because Roman has still won. A lot of people were for Brock Lesnar to win, but now the question is asked, who's going to stop Roman Reigns? But either way, what do you think about tonight's match? What do you think about tonight's version of WrestleMania? Which night was better to you? Night 1 or night 2? The jury's out for me. I need some time to think about which one was my favorite. But let me know which night was your favorite. If you enjoyed this, give a thumbs up. And I'll see you next time. That's all the time I have for you today, folks. I'll see you again soon.